Kind of a dramatic scene at the U.S. Attorney's Office in New Jersey yesterday as the Attorney General stepped in after interim U.S. Attorney Alina Habba was replaced there in New Jersey. Habba, former personal lawyer for the president, was removed from her post by a panel of New Jersey federal judges, but then the Trump administration intervened. So, Lisa, this was an interim position of, I think, 120 days.
Exactly right.
It's time for it to be over and her to go away, and that's the case the judge has made here. But now the Attorney General of the United States stepping in to try to get her Habba's job back. What's going on here?
That's exactly what happened. So first of all, she wasn't removed upon the expiration of that 120 days. Either the position becomes filled by somebody who's the first assistant United States attorney by statute, or the judges can appoint someone to serve as a U.S. attorney until the president nominates someone and the Senate confirms someone. That is, in the usual course, how this is supposed to work. For the avoidance of doubt, yesterday, the chief judge of the District of New Jersey issued an order saying that that same first assistant I was still referring to would become the U.S. attorney. Pam Bondi, in an X post last night, called the judges rogue for exercising their statutory prerogative, then fired the first assistant, claiming Alina Habba's 120 days weren't yet up. And here we're getting into a semantic dispute about the meaning of the word appointment. President Trump announced that Alina Habba would be serving as the acting U.S. attorney on March 24th. If you take that as the date, her 120 days was up yesterday. But she was sworn in by Pam Bondi on March 28th. And if that's the operative date, she wasn't yet done. According to Pam Bondi, Desiree Grace, who is the appointee, was still acting as the first assistant as a career prosecutor.
Mike Davis, this is a huge fight for President Trump against his radical judiciary. Make this make sense to us. What's going on?
Yeah, so the president of the United States has like 93 United States attorneys around the country who are the chief law enforcement officer in each one of these federal districts, including the District of New Jersey. Generally, how it works is the president nominates a U.S. attorney. That U.S. attorney is confirmed by the Senate, but you have these Democrat senators like Cory Booker, who doesn't even live in New Jersey. He lives in Manhattan most of the time. But he has used a what's called the blue slip, where you have to get the home state senator's approval. The president has to get the home state senator's approval before the Senate will move forward with the nominations of U.S. attorneys, district court judges, and U.S. marshals. And the blue slips are not going away. I always say there would be 100 senator revolts if these home state senators lost the ability to hand select the U.S. attorney who would prosecute them, the district court judge who would oversee the trial, and the U.S. marshal who would escort them to prison. So I'm just telling you, I tried very hard when I was the chief counsel.
But hang on. I understand they should have consultation rights. But if the blue slips don't go away, the audience is just learning this. That means all these left-wing, this is the reason you have problems in California, you have problems in Illinois, you have problems in New York. You can't enforce anything because they don't let the president and his Article 2 powers appoint who he wants to appoint, correct?
Correct. But I'm telling you, as the chief counsel for nominations for Grassley 8 years ago, or whenever the hell it was, I tried hard to get rid of these blue slips. I think it's BS that the president can't pick his own people, but it is something the Senate has had for 100 years. And like I said, there would be 100 senator revolts if they got rid of this. So it's not going away. And so you just have to deal with that reality that it's not going away. We got rid of the blue slip veto for circuit judges, and that's how we were able to confirm a record number of President Trump's circuit judges in his first two years under then Chairman Chuck Grassley, but it's not going away.
It's huge. So don't get me wrong. The appellate courts. Yeah. But hold it. Did so the judges threw our person, Alina, out. They appointed her deputy, I guess, and Pam Bondi immediately fired her. Now, did she put Alina back in? She fired the judge's choice. Did she put Alina back in?
So here's what happens. Because we can't get Alina to get blue slips from Cory Booker and the other New Jersey senator, whoever the hell that is, another Democrat. So then that the attorney general appointed Alina for a 120-day appointment. Same with Judge Jeanine Pirro in D.C., same with the U.S. Attorney Sarcone up in the Northern District of New York and others, right? So after that 120-day window expires under the Vacancy Reform Act of, I think it's like 1998 or whatever year it is, then the district court judges get to decide whether that that U.S. attorney appointed for 120 days stays or goes. I don't think that's constitutional. I think that's a violation of the separation of powers of Article 2, but that's what the statute says, right? So then you had House Democrat leader Hakeem Jeffries come out there publicly and twist the arms of these 17 New Jersey U.S. District Court judges who would vote on Alina. 15 of them are appointed by Obama and Biden. And so, of course, it's stacked with radical Democrat activists. They voted to fire Alina Habba. Her term ends on Friday. They also said, we're just going to make this Democrat operative in the U.S. Attorney's Office the first assistant.
Mike, hang on for 1 second. Just hang on 1 second. I'm holding through the break. We got to get to the bottom of this. Mike Davis is with us, and we're going to cover so much more. Todd Blanche now in charge. Look like over the.
Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Okay, folks, we're going to juggle a little bit this morning, as I know the War Room Posse is. There's a 2-day human trafficking conference going on with sponsored by CPAC. Grace and Mo, we're going to try to put that on our alternative channel to stream that. You can see it. I think Senator Blackburn already talked. It's going to be great 2 days in and out. We've got people, Real America's Voice War Room, covering that. Also, there's and I think the session today is behind closed doors, an AI summit with the tech bros, but the AI action plan, which just got released, Senator Hawley's going to be on to discuss that, his legislation to try to make sure that there's some controls in here. Mike Davis is also going to talk about that. Mike Davis is also going to talk about appointments, recess for appointments, why is the Senate going home, all of it. But, Mike, I got to get back to this, and let me know when Senator Hawley's up, because I know he's pressed for time. So, Mike Davis, continue on. They appointed the hack Democrat. Now, did Pam Bondi fire her immediately?
Yeah, so they appointed this hack Democrat in New Jersey. The Democrat judges colluded with this woman. They made her the first assistant. But the problem is that Alina still has the job until Friday, because that's when her 120-day appointment expires. And so Pam fired the first assistant. Now, at 120 days, what I presume will happen is that Pam will make Alina so this woman who just got fired will become the first assistant again, or someone else. Pam's going to fire that first assistant again on Friday. And if Alina wants the job, and I strongly urge her to take the job, appoints Alina Habba the first assistant on Friday, and then she becomes the acting U.S. attorney on Friday and doesn't miss a beat. And it's a big middle finger to the 17 district court judges in New Jersey, 15 of whom were appointed by Obama and Biden, that they don't get a pick. President Trump's team, President Trump and Pam Bondi get a pick his U.S. attorney. And it's unconstitutional what they did. And frankly, it's an ethics violation. And I'm going to file a judicial misconduct complaint against these 17 judges, like I filed a House ethics complaint against House Democrat leader Hakeem Jeffries and got them all spun up about that, because Hakeem Jeffries said that these 17 judges in New Jersey, 15 Obama and Biden appointees, needed to fire Alina Habba because Alina Habba sought and got a federal grand jury indictment against a Democrat House member, a piece of trash House member, a bottom feeder who assaulted federal ICE officers allegedly meaning on video. And so when Alina brought that indictment, Hakeem Jeffries said that she needed to be fired for that. Well, I don't know how that's not obstruction of justice, but at a minimum, he's going to face a House ethics complaint, and these judges are going to file a judicial misconduct complaint.
I want to pull the camera back for a second. Explain. You have Maine Justice, and Maine Justice has these huge departments. Like you have the criminal division, you have civil rights, which you have Harmeet is running, and the civil rights division is huge. That's where all the voter situation is. So that's Maine Justice with thousands of people. The FBI then is their investigative arm that reports to Maine Justice. Then you have 93 U.S. attorneys. So people should understand the whole country is divided up, including the territories, into different sections, like the Southern District of New York or the Eastern District of New York over in Brooklyn, or D.C., or New Jersey, and obviously Los Angeles. Some of these are incredibly powerful because you have the major cities, and this is one of the reasons you have these neo-Confederates, right, like Bass, like the mayor of Chicago, like what's happening in New York City. They get these pliant U.S. attorneys because of the blue slips, and they run like independent, the sanctuary cities and independent countries. Where does President Trump stand? This is my whole point about the Senate. You either stick around in August and start approving people, and it's because Judge Jeanine, and these are heavy lifts on him. Judge Jeanine, I think, got confirmed, right, as D.C., and that's going to be very powerful. But you either do that or you just do recess appointments and get your U.S. attorneys in there. President Trump, the U.S. attorneys, I would argue, are actually more powerful. If you want the Epstein thing situated, or back in the days when Acosta was the U.S. attorney in Southern Florida, you have to have a hammer as a U.S. attorney. This is what these U.S. attorneys are, and this is why Alina Habba is so important in New Jersey, because, as you know, that's just an extension of New York City, sir.
That's exactly right. U.S. attorneys are very important. They're powerful. They are the chief law enforcement officer in each one of these districts. If you don't get the U.S. attorney to bring an indictment or open an investigation, it doesn't happen, right? It's very hard to make it happen. You essentially have to have the attorney general or the deputy attorney general step in and do it over their heads, which is rare. Fortunately, Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche have backbones of steel, so they'll do stuff like that. But it's rare to get prior attorneys general or deputy attorneys general to do things like that. But we have warriors as AG and deputy AG, or DAG. I would say this about
Mike. Hang on for 1 second. I want to get Senator Hawley for a few minutes. Mike Davis is with us. We're going to talk AI. Davis, we got a minute before we go to break. Explain to the people what Josh Hawley just told us. Is this unprecedented? They're slowing it down, slow walking and filibustering every appointment, even these deputy assistant secretaries at the different cabinet positions?
Yes, they are. It used to be that you would confirm U.S. attorneys and U.S. marshals and non-controversial nominees through voice votes or unanimous consent. You wouldn't do a roll call vote. These Democrats are intentionally trying to sabotage the will of the American people and our duly elected president. Josh Hawley is the tip of the spear. He's great. He's a former clerk of mine, co-clerk of mine from the 10th Circuit back in 2006 and 2007. He's a great guy. He's a warrior. And what needs to happen is we need to lean in on this. This is unacceptable. We need to force these Senate Republicans, the Senate Democrats, to work through August. If they're going to filibuster in August.
Yeah. Mike, hang on for 1 second. Mike Davis is going to stick with us.